Welcome to Wear Your Cape to Work, a podcast hosted by Project Insight. We believe that project and program managers are the real superheroes of every organization. They wear their capes to work every day, and we want to celebrate them. Our guests on the podcast are project professionals who have poured their superpowers into driving successful projects across different industries. We want you to hear their stories so you can be inspired to wear your own cape to work. Well, this is a special event. In this episode, we recorded our podcast session live at the PMI Orange County Chapter in Anaheim, California. And my guests on the show were Marjan Khan, who is an HR project manager at Mazda North America Operations, and Tamas Vejsz, who is a senior project and program leader at CTC Global. The two of them joined me after a discussion about your leadership superpowers, and they shared with me how you can lead from your strengths, but also use your network to cover your blind spots. This is a great episode and a very unique event, and I think you're going to love it. Marjan, Tamas, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the Wear Your Cape to Work podcast.
Thanks, Trina.
Thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. Marjan, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about where you work? We already talked about Mazda, but tell us about Mazda and how you came to lead projects there.
Okay, so my career journey has not been linear. I came to Mazda not with an HR background, actually. I was working 8 years at a sales organization and had more of a sales training background. So the role I initially had at Mazda was under the learning and development team, under training. And project management is actually new as a role. I stepped into this role about a year ago. And that's kind of been like the short version of the career journey.
As a lot of our guests in our audience do not come to project management immediately. A lot of them were doing project management without knowing they were a project manager, right? And then they found themselves in a project role. I see a lot of heads nodding. Tamas, tell us a little bit about how you got to become project oriented, right? How did you get into project work?
So my career has been a little more lengthy than Marjan. So basically product development in commercial aerospace was my career path. From engineering to Cal State Long Beach, all the way to like director of engineering teams for various commercial aerospace companies, doing stuff from the cockpit security, and flight entertainment, like the Panasonic guys over here.
Nice.
And then I pivoted after COVID out of commercial aerospace into energy. And it was by necessity to pivot out of commercial aerospace after COVID, a major downturn. So this company is a small company that does high voltage power transmission. And I am the only project manager within the small engineering team. And they hired me essentially to develop and manage the project management team and processes there at the company. So that's how I got there.
And a long tenure in project management in big industry. And they were like, we need this person to come and show us how to do it.
Basically, the VP of engineering said, I need a person to come in and show the engineering team how to manage projects.
Yep. We see that a lot, right? I think many of us in our audience are thinking, yep, I found myself in this role the same way. But exciting to have someone from HR and from energy, past, aerospace. This is a very diverse group of guests that I have on today, which is pretty cool. When you think about your own leadership styles, what is one strength that you naturally bring into the room or into a project setting? We all thought about that tonight at this event. What do people consistently come to you for? Do either one of you want to take a stab at that first?
Okay, I'll take a stab first. One thing that people always come to me for, even before I had a formal project manager role, is you're really good at bringing structure where structure doesn't exist. You're really good at helping people clearly understand what needs to get done next. You're able to mobilize people. So those are kind of just like the natural strengths I brought. And some of that comes from my being a first-generation immigrant. I came here when I was 8 from Bangladesh, and I didn't speak any English. And I had to learn quickly how to communicate and get things happening in the way that I needed it to. And once I did that, I was also a translator for my parents. So all of that kind of comes into play as I'm kind of sitting in my role that I am in now.
That's super exciting because we talked tonight about how some of our strengths come naturally. Well, some of them are the product of the environment that we've grown up in, right? To be in a multicultural home where no one's speaking English, you're bringing structure. Also, being a translator, I'm looking into our audience that's live here thinking, how many of you are translating at work? Not language, but information. Somehow you're translating between teams. You're translating development work, IT to work. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's an interesting question just to go down as far as thinking about it. So at the current position, it's a lot of consensus. It's a lot of relating to the engineering team as people and relationships to get them to buy into using project management processes. Whereas before, nothing existed there. So that's been a big part of the current position. Previously, as an engineering manager, it was very situational. Sometimes you had to be very direct.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to build a consensus around things. So right now at the CTC Global, it's very much in terms of planning projects.
Okay.
How do you plan it? How do you start it? So that's the key thing that I've been known for.
Yeah, that you are bringing to the table, but it's not your only strength.
Right.
And that's a really great point. If you think about it, audience, you may have changed roles too, or maybe you've changed companies entirely. You could end up using a different one of your strengths. I mean, we aren't single strength people, are we? I mean, we are multifaceted. Was there a moment in your career where you realized, oh, this is it. This is me. This is what I do. Tamas, tell us, did you have a moment, an awakening moment? Yeah.
It was not quite one single moment. It was a career-long process. So started off with, as an engineer, designing products from CAD work, so mechanical engineering, electromechanical packaging, slowly drifting into project leadership, project management, and then doing some of that without any formal training or anything, and then shifting back into engineering management and trying to go that career path. But then COVID hit, and as I said, that was kind of a moment where it was like, okay, what do I want to do next? Still try and do engineering leadership or shift back into more of a project management role? And then this opportunity came up to implement project management process and techniques and things at a company. It was like, yeah, that really can work for me as far as going forward as an opportunity and the next step in a career to focus on that.
As you build those strengths, right, then you have more opportunity. I heard that word, right? Opportunity. The more strengths you build, the more opportunities you have to use them in your kaleidoscope of life, right? One of the ideas I want people to take away today is that great leaders do not have to be good at everything, but they do need to know who helps them think better. Who has played that kind of role for you in your career, if anyone?
A couple different people. So in my previous organization, there was an individual who, it was one of those like random run-ins at the coffee bar. And this individual just struck up a conversation of just asking me, oh, I know you're going to get your master's degree right now. Tell me all about that. And it was just like a light conversation. Fast forward a couple of years later, and he ended up creating a custom role on his team for me. And that really opened the door for landing the role I have at Mazda. So this individual, what they brought is this confidence. Like they saw my capability before I did. Right? He was like, I know you're going somewhere with this. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to stay in touch. And just those conversations kept me longer at that organization than maybe I should have stayed. But it was really, really motivating. It kept me going.
Tamas.
I would have to say right now it's currently my supervisor, my boss.
Nice.
He obviously gave me this opportunity to come into the company and try and improve the company, make it possible to scale the company as it grows, and put those processes and things in place. And so he just brings just more knowledge, overall knowledge of how to directly manage people and all that skill set of how to lead an engineering organization. So that's basically where I'm getting a lot of help from,
Right.
to improve about what I currently do, and then where my blind spots are.
Yep.
That he'll be able to help me guide. He's been a really good guide to identify those and push on those.
Yeah.
So,
And the people that we are okay with telling us about our blind spots, why are we okay? Because they all of a sudden are safe, right? We admire them. We've interacted with them. They've seen something good in us. And then it's fair. We're like, yeah, I want to know what you think about this other challenging spot. How do you know, though, when to ask for help, right? How do you know when it's a good time to bring in the right person? You could handle it alone. We kind of live in a culture where you're not supposed to show that you have any weaknesses, right? How do you know when it's a good time to be like, you know what, I need a little help. I don't want to be with her.
yeah, sure. Currently, it's because that relationship is there with my boss. It's very easy to approach him with when I need some help on something or when I need to discuss an issue. There have been situations where it hasn't been easy, and it's been really difficult. As you said, you're expected to know everything at certain points, and if you show that you don't, it's a negative mark, and then you get judged on that because you're asking for some help, but you don't get it.
Right.
So finding this situation that I'm in is better than the other one. Start small.
I think you said, too, start small, but what I remember that you had said in our little conversation was that don't ask the same thing twice.
That too.
Right? Like, if you're going to ask for help, that's cool, but don't go back and be like, hey, could you tell me how to do this again?
Yeah, that is true.
Ooh, recently, actually. So there's bandwidth and capacity, right? One only has so much bandwidth and so much capacity that it's important that you learn who to reach out to in those moments. So one of the things the thing that you were able to attend is at Mazda, I created a new professional resource group that's focused on project management. Like, it's an internal community gathering all Mazda employees across the organization together. So to make this a reality, I knew, well, I can't do my day job and this additional thing. So I found another individual who knew more project managers in the organization and leaned on her for support. And she was more seasoned and had more tenure in project management. So just having her in the room gave me access to people I didn't have access to before, relationships with people I didn't have relationships with before. And also, I wasn't just in HR anymore. She worked under what's called Emerging Business Office in our organization. And that was a win for me.
Yep. That was a great event to be a part of. What advice would you give to someone who wants to build a stronger professional network, but who feels awkward or unsure about where to start?
Tamas first? All right.
Well, I'll give it a shot, sure. Since I was basically that person,
Yeah.
it's starting off with people you really know. So friends, coworkers, whatever, just people that you have a good personal relationship with. And you start asking those more business network kind of questions of them and see if they're responsive and see if they want to engage with that. And as you manage to do that, if they're willing to engage with you, your confidence grows. And you start building it out for other people that maybe you're not that close to. And so just, you have to start with something. But so take that first step with close friends, colleagues, and then build from there.
Yeah.
But start.
There it is. Do something, right?
Yeah.
Since Tamas started with start internal, start close, I would say you kind of touched on this in your presentation. Look at the people that are kind of in your network that you're like, oh, this person, they're doing some really great things. I wish I could talk to them. Because that's what I did. I reached out to the former mayor of Irvine, Marjan Khan, and it was a cold outreach. I was like, I really want to hear from her. She is a female leader, and we were having our Women's History Month event. And I was like, I want her to be a guest speaker. I don't know if she's going to say yes or not. I DM'd her via Instagram, not even LinkedIn.
Nice.
And
catch her on the light side. This is good.
and she responded the same day. And boom, she ended up coming to the event. I got to moderate the event with her. And now I have her personal cell phone number.
You can all see why I chose both of these individuals, so diverse in where they're coming from and their strengths. But I think that gives all of you an idea of what we've been talking about. How do you find your strength? Marjan's wasn't the same as Tamas, but you're both sitting there going, wow, I like both of these two, right? I mean, it's the same for all of you. We all feel the same about you. You have our support. You have our backup. We have your back. If you're going to go stick your neck out somewhere, we all believe in you. You can always come back to this group from networking and we'll be like, you're awesome. Who cares what they think, right? But do it. Get brave. Go out there. Build your network. Thank you, both of you, for being part of the podcast.
Thank you, Trina.
Thank you for joining us today on the Wear Your Cape to Work podcast, hosted by Project Insight. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, follow, or leave us a comment. If you subscribe to our YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or other favorite podcast channels, you'll receive notifications of all of our new episodes. We'd also love it if you would share Wear Your Cape to Work with your network of PMPs or anyone else who might enjoy the show. Project Insight is an online project and portfolio management software that helps companies connect project data from across all of their teams and software tools so that they can make confident decisions about their business. Our website is projectinsight.com, and there you can find many resources for project professionals, including free PDU webinars, as well as a place to register for a demonstration or a consultation with one of our success teams. Thank you once again for joining today's conversation, and most importantly, thanks for wearing your cape to work.